Hi, y'all. We're here now. This is Unit 2, Chapter 2, and this is the second video, instructional video. And this lesson or instruction will be based on the characters of early education in the United States. So let me share my screen with you. Share screen. I can see all that. Okay, I'm going to share the slideshow from the beginning. Start from here. Okay, so we're the overview. We're just going to talk about the main players of the early education and where we got some of our instructional um, formatting and curriculum from. So, so in the United States, we pretty much got our education from different countries because we were such a young country, and we felt like that we need to educate our people. Based on the last lesson, the previous lesson, we looked at how education and the resources of education and where they got their, who they're educated. And as we said, that really the rich whites would, for most part, educate their children. They might even barter to get their children educated. Um, Women would pretty much not receive a formal education. They'll start off with at home, and then after that, that's it. But mostly it's the boys and boys from the South, boys from the North, that's gone to the Latin grammar schools and so forth, and then go on to universities. And usually they would teach things like the Bible, um, things like, or if you want to go further in education, you could get the curriculum of Latin and Greek and math. Definitely help you become a preacher or a lawyer or a teacher. Men, not women. So we're going to go on. We're going to start off with the first main player of education, which is a Benjamin Rush, Dr. Rush. He believed that free education should, states should sponsor free education for, well, I should say all, but free education for the ones who are free, right? So he believed that, and he did most of his work in Pennsylvania. Dr. Rush believed that just studying Latin and Greek, because that's the dominated curriculum, it wasn't a universal thing to do. I mean, he didn't think it was right. So he instituted or said that he wanted German, English, art, and then also teach good manners as long and also teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's what he wanted to be done um, in Pennsylvania. So he emphasized, or he wanted, free elementary schools in every township consisting of 100 or more families, and free academies at the county level, and free college and universities at the state level. Well, I wish they kept that up. Free universities, ooh. All right. And then he believed that the tax dollars should pay for the expenses of education. And he had his ideas from Horace Mann, who we know as the father of education in the United States. But that was Benjamin Rush, and he felt that students should go and have a free education, free public education, where the counties are paying for the teaching of young children. Then our next player is, believe it or not, Thomas Jefferson, which we all know he was like the one of the presidents of the United States. Thomas Jefferson, like Benjamin Rush, believed in free education. And he wanted free education um, because he says a man of wide ranging interests, which includes politics, architecture. That's what he's into: architecture, agriculture, science, art, and education. He a man of many talents. He said that education shouldn't just be for the rich, but poor students. In fact, he said 20 secondary schools, and secondary is uh, another word for high school. So he said that the poor should be able to go to school, but not all poor, but the poor and gifted. You got to be gifted. So they wanted to teach, he wanted them to be educated in Latin, Greek, English, geography, and higher math. Now, if you go back, because this is elementary education, if you go back, the curriculum should include reading, writing, arithmetic, and history. And like Benjamin Rush, he believed that school should be free. Free. Um, let's go to the next person. Noah Webster. Now, I know you're like, is that? No. Well, yeah, this is the Webster from the Webster Dictionary. And he advocated for education as well. And he said that people should become independent thinkers. And that's why they should become educated to get away from England. And in fact, he thinks that his thoughts were that America should have their own like type of English where we can get away from the English dialect, have a more American dialect to English. Of course, they do sound different than we do, but not to say that he was the big player of that. However, as we go south, west, east, wherever you're from in the region, we take on a dialect of our region. So he believed in that. He also made some readers for people to read, little children to read. He uh, made some spellers as well, which makes sense because he's the one that published or he founded the Webster and it's called the American Dictionary, which was completed in 1825. And it came after much research. I bet it did. And where that the United States could make sense of their own language and have their own identity. He wanted to separate, again, like I said, from the English folks, the folks in England. All right, then we have William Holmes McGuffey, and excuse me, he wanted a different type of curriculum for education. He wanted a more moralistic, religious, capitalistic, and nationalistic aspect of education and curriculum. He paved the way for the graded school system. So now you know who came up with the graded school system. It probably came from um, previous countries, but then he brought it over because a lot of these people are what you would call legit immigrants because a lot of them weren't born in the United States. These because at that time the United States was a young country, um, but he extolled patriotism, heroism, hard work, diligence, and virtual living. That was part of education. Hmm. He, like I said, the moralistic aspect, the religious aspect, capitalistic. I wonder if you can be capitalistic and religious at the same time. I'm just, just wonder. That's all. Um, and let's see what else. He also provided the first graded reader for United States schools. So he was the one that came with the first graded reader. And he paved the way for the grading system, of course. He also came up with a pictorial primer. And a lot of schools and today still has it. And when I get a chance, or when you get a chance, you can Google it, pictorial primer, so you can see what those items look like. Now, coming into our field, which is elementary education. This person came out in 1746. I shouldn't say came out like that, but he was um, uh, very prominent in 17. Well, he was born in 1746, but he came out prominent in the mid 1700s. Um, they said that early U.S. education was strongly influenced by him. His name is Johann Pestalozzi. Johann Pestalozzi. And he was a Swiss educator. According to what they're saying right here, Apostles maintain that education should be based on a child's natural development, kind of like our friend Piaget, that I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'm probably going to talk about him in the next one. But he believes that children's education should be based on natural curiosity and not just being what you call it, not being just isolated person learning through osmosis type thing. Apostles maintain that education should be based on that children's natural curiosity and development. His basic pedagogical innovation was insist that children learn through their senses. Sound just like my friend Piaget, except Piaget was a lot younger than Johann Pestalozzi. And that's supposed to be an H, not an E, but that's okay. Pestalozzi proposed a general method and a special method. The general method calls for educators who provide children with emotional security and affection, just love on the way. The special method, on the other hand, is considered children's auditory and visual senses. So, and it kind of makes sense because you love on the kids. And when you get their back and they know you have their back, and they know that you are for them, the day you can pique their curiosity with learning. Okay. Children would determine an object form, draw the objects, and then name it. So that's what his schooling was about. From this lesson, he knew lesson forms of numbers, and sound came more formal instruction in the three R's. So he did believe in the three R's, but he believed in the lens of including all of your senses. So like a kind of like a holistic approach instead of passive. Last but not, no, it's not last, but this is, and most early childhood and kindergarten teachers know him. He's Friedrich Froebel. Froebel. He is considered the father of kindergarten. He started off as a German educator and he created the word kindergarten, which means, check this out, this means children garden. He focused on 3 and 4-year-old children and believed that their schooling should be organized around play and individuals and group interests and activities. So he believed that children learn through play, which is true. They learn through play for the most part because they're kindergartners, especially 3 and 4-year-old. We call those preschoolers. Uh, for Bell encouraged a child-centered curriculum, like our friend Pestalozzi, on love, trust, and freedom. Yeah, child doesn't love you, or you don't feel the child doesn't feel the love of the teacher or the trust of the teacher, then they won't learn. The children could manipulate objects, shapes, and construct material with Play-Doh, sand, cardboard, whatever, and engage in playful activities. And that's what he believed in. And I think I have a video. In fact, I know I have the video so that y'all can see his life more closely. And we have Johann Herbert. So we got two Johanns. One Johann Herbert again. He's German philosopher who's known for his contribution to moral development. Moral development, and he had these ideas here of inner freedom, perfection, benevolence, justice, retribution, knowledge interest, and ethical interest, and curriculum correlation. So that's his ideals were when they were fighting on the moral character. Um, so drawing from his ideals on moral education, Harper also specified two major bodies of interest that should be included in education. Here are the two bodies: knowledge interest and ethical interest. Got those two. So they should be correlated into the curriculum: knowledge interest and ethics or ethical issue. And we as educators do have to go through, um, I have some type of ethical training to know what's right, what's wrong, on how to be outstanding teachers without breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? All right. In terms of organizing instruction, Herbert developed the concept of curriculum correlation. These were to have a decided impact on education in the United States from the 1940s and 1950s. So that is not too long ago, less than 100 years to be exact. We're approaching about 80 years ago. According to the doctrine of correlation, each subject should be taught in such a way that it refers to and relates to the other subjects. So, what did that sound like? That sounds like integration, like curriculum integration. And he believes that they should relate to one another. Knowledge would then appear to the learner as an integrated system of ideals that form an apprentice uh, mass. So he believes that knowledge should be integrated. So don't isolate math from this or language arts from that, but an integrated approach. Then we have another one, and I believe this is our last one. Herbert Spencer. Now he's a utilitarian and science educator. So he believed that he based his beliefs on Charles Darwin. And I know Charles Darwin, his belief is, and if you don't know, you should know if you're alternative masters because you got to take the test. And that's one of the things on the test, Charles Darwin. And survival for the fittest. Okay, that was his belief, survival of the fittest. Spencer maintained that simple society evolved to more complex social systems characterized by an increased variety of specialized profession and occupation. Because of nature's law, only intelligent, I'm sorry, only intelligent and productive population adapts to environmental changes. Less intelligent, weak, or lazy people slowly disappear. Oh, I don't know how you feel about that, but that's what he believes in. So that's what you call the survival of the fittest. You don't adapt, get left behind, or eradicated. Okay. Um, what's your thoughts about that? But he also was a critic of religious doctrine. He believed that you can't prove it, and it's not based on scientific evidence and reasoning. So that was his stance on curriculum, that makes sure that it is based on evidence, right? So Spencer constructed a curriculum aimed at enhancing human survival and progress. His curriculum he had his own curriculum, and it includes knowledge and activities in order of importance for sustaining life and earning a living. Reading children, uh, rearing children properly, maintaining effective citizenship, and enjoying leisure time. So do your work, and then you can enjoy your leisure time. So that was his thing. These five purposes became the basis of the principles of secondary ed, which is not us, we're elementary, but that's the basis for secondary education. All right, so I believe that that is all that we have for this video, and you will turn into or tend into the next one, and that will be more so about the schools in education. Just think about all these players that we have and some of the things that are going on in our schools today, and just see if there's some type of correlation or you can see the foundation of it from this video. Hold on. Hey, it's one James. I'm gonna have class tomorrow. Friday, ma'am.